Hello, welcome or welcome back. Thank you for joining once again. We've got a big mashup of energies here. And thank you for joining. This is Impressive Warrior with a reading. The first part here is going to be intended as a love portion here. And then we were moving over here into career and finance energies. And I found this very interesting, the mirroring that's happening. So let's get into it. We'll start over here with the love portion of the reading. We've got Earth, nurture, nature. Just check out all of the beautiful energies going on there. Someone that has really been connecting with the earthly realms. You could be a light worker in any sense of the word, some type of healer energy, or simply a very nurturing person. And regardless of your gender, you may really identify with being the individual that supports and encourages and connects people to their sense of self-worth and love. This realm bridger is someone who also is working with, again, shifting those earthly energies into the more spiritual context. So you may also be somebody who brings a lot of sense and understanding to people's processes. When they have something that they're dealing with, you can often be the one that they call to either look into a situation and to get the messages required with this crystal ball energy, and to really see multi-levels how that is impacting their situation, how it has crystallized into various processes in their life, and to help them to overcome or to see something in how that can be overcome. So you're very skilled at alchemy and transmutation here. But then there's this realization in reverse with belief in emergence. So as far as the love portion goes, there's some type of belief pattern that is emerging that you didn't realize was operating to the extent that it was. And it looks like here there's some type of foundational karma, if you want to call it that, or just some pattern that's been demonstrated from the early experiences, the foundational makeup of our psyche and subconscious level that has kept us bound and chained to some type of relationship dynamic. See how that chains card, the traditional 15 devil card, is shown with this the dragon warden holding the broken chains, but the partners remaining back to back, bound and chained to each other into their codependent, addictive expectation energy. And from this position, this is telling me that some of these beliefs in your life have come from possibly witnessing other relationship dynamics that didn't seem appealing to you. Could have been your parents or other people in the world, or some type of Cinderella mentality that was something that you were not here to indulge and enable in your life. You really took the time to break through and investigate that. And with this magician energy here, you've done a lot of research. You are addressing, and I'm hearing collaborating with the ghosts of your past, so to speak, because this karmic moon card here talks about dancing on the patterns of the past until the roots are settled and come into some type of context and awareness. And so I'm seeing these ghosts of the past happening as this generational healing element, where you are born into this specific dynamic here, this earthly dynamic, to be able to have the context to see situations and patterns from the end. But sometimes knowing all that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have our own stuff to fix and to work through and heal and to bring our awareness to. That's what we're here to do. So we've got these some type of commitment energy. Many of you will have had some type of a deeper relationship, whether that's actually a marriage or if you haven't quite gotten there. It was really giving me the energy of breakup and divorce energy, where the commitments from the past have created this need to be resilient, to heal when things hurt. And we're moving down here into this King of Roses energy as this love prospect, I believe, known here with this pilgrim energy of more of a seeker, someone who's been wandering and considering their path greatly. And then we have this Archangel Michael card. So I'm seeing this also as one who has, because of one reason or another, intuitively decided not to become involved in this codependent energy, to distract ourselves with the third dimensional relationships that weren't appealing, to instead dedicate to spirit and go on this pilgrimage to discover how we could be the master of our emotional needs. So moving over again to the tarot section here, it's like this whole process that you've been overcoming and researching and communing and collaborating with these spiritual forces has created this new beginning in love. So a brand new huge love. There's this waterfall energy too, creating this stream. So this is definitely talking about, this is an emotional realization, again with that realization card up there, that may create a lot of resistance or release energy, like crying, or this epiphany energy that then becomes, oh, well, that didn't work out because there was something else here in this new beginning. And so here we have this enlightening tower moment that is difficult to contend with. It's very rocky, very jagged. Everybody's up in arms. There may have been some fighting in some situations that seemed really, really intense. But through those trials, this Two of Pentacles has taught us how to walk some type of a thin line here and create this sense of balance for ourselves. We have, again here, overcome some type of codependency or attachment energy, and we've been able to cross this old chasm where we see again these faces of the dragons and other energies here down below. This is like the trials of our ancestors trying to overcome this, but here you are finally crossing that threshold here. And so we've got this 10 of Cups at the end, and that 10 of Cups is all about the emotional fulfillment, all of the things that you define as your personal fulfillment. And quite often it's depicted with this partnership, family, and abundance and ease, relaxation energy. But I'm sensing that it's very family, friendship, connections oriented. And at the end of the line here, it comes down to the Four of Pentacles. So I'm getting this energy of, she does have, by the way, these chains in her hair. And so even though she has, in this situation, overcome some type of codependency by not indulging it, there's still some type of a hold that it has here on. It's like the hair is representing the what's growing from the crown, if you will. And so there's a lot of lessons that she's bringing into the future, but this individual is also still bound by certain patterns. And so there's spirit here with this dragon energy speaking into our ear about, okay, this time are you going to do it differently? And with the card depicting withdrawal or withholding or control or hoarding energy here, it's very much about sharing the process in some way and not feeling as though we have to go it alone. With the Archangel Michael, the way that this is coming through is that because of not being able to resolve some type of relationship dynamic. You may have put your energy into something like into your own personal children or other children, or protecting or advocating social work, some type of service work where you were helping others to be safe and secure, because you weren't really necessarily creating it here for yourself some way. If that resonates, I mean, don't take it if it doesn't resonate. But here we have, there's an intuition, this nudge, this realization that really wants to come through here with this dragon that's whispering in the ear. It's like, can you see? Can you see? They're sending signs and synchronicities about what it is. It could also be, I'm hearing a little bit of an interruption from spirit about that. It could be that we need to give ourselves all of the love that we keep pouring onto others instead of holding something back. It's like being very gentle and being willing to relax. And going back over here, this intuitive nudge that we're feeling is reminding us there's this fairy magic at play in our lives that is distracting us and keeping us in these old operating patterns. It's the chain on the hair that says that we don't even recognize that we're still using something from the past as a tool to build the future, and it's not quite working. So there's something that has been made too complicated with the simplicity and the reverse. So I don't know if that's going to mean that we have some things that need to be delegated or some things that need to be streamlined in our situation. But it looks like we're making something a little more complicated. Like, for instance, I always like to use the easy example that if we want to meet new people, the worst way to do that is to stay in your house and not connect with other people, obviously, right? So we have to recognize here where the fairies have kind of taken us away from the goal, because we need to get back to the origin story, the goal that we've always wanted. And it looks here like love is the reason, whether it's loving partnerships, family, friends, or situations, even jobs that answer that sense of loving connection here. There's all kinds of ways to express that. And previously, it looks like some of that has been funneled into our caretaking capacity for others instead of actually going back into that original goal of simply being love. We've kind of made it into a job and an obligation, and it's less enjoyable when we do that versus when we're just going with the flow as this pilgrim, just being on the sacred mission. So moving over to what was intended as the finance and career, whether you work in a job capacity or otherwise, or if you are beyond that point or entrepreneur your own self, this is talking about here. There are 3 main chakras coming out right away with Tantric Journey. So there's a lot of chakra energy leveling up going on here. We've got heart chakra, the number 2 sacral chakra, and the number 3 solar plexus chakra. And just generally, heart chakra is about self-respect and self-care and self-love, treating others with compassion, and also being accountable for the way that we use our emotional energy. And it's also ruled by the suit of air, or the element of air, meaning, are we really leading from the heart, or are we justifying and maneuvering and scorekeeping, things like that? So also with heart, in the context with the earlier love reading and then the mirroring that's going to be happening in this side, talks a lot about the wounded nature of the heart and being careful and closed down and defensive and guarded. with tantric journey. There's some energy really lifting up from the base, rising up through this ascension process in this realization process as these beliefs are emerging to be challenged, to reintegrate. And the reintegration journey is all about, many of us call it masculine, feminine aspects, our assertive and our receiving sides. And recently, one of my new friends here and acquaintances has said that she often depicts it as the parent and child. And I thought that was a very great way to look at it, because it's like we are protecting and guiding the lower, so to speak, self, which doesn't mean it's worse, just less aware. It's just slowed down frequency. And it's being called back up as we resolve things, trying to create resonance and greater alignment in our lives. And whatever is coming up, again, in the air suit in the heart, some type of woundedness or realization of our emotional needs here, it's really hitting the sacral chakra there in the gut. And it's saying, what do you deserve? What do you want? What is your desire nature really speaking about right now? And what's next for you? And I feel like what's coming up is this need for that love nature to really be expressed and expanded in your life. Is coming next here. We've got, let's cover the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra coming a little bit later here down the row is all about the willpower, our creative essence, and our ability to radiate and shine. And what is the vibrational resonance that's shining through us? Is it resentments, frustrations, anger? Or is it creativity and curiosity and spontaneity and flow and trust and playfulness, joy, humor? There's all kinds of energies just coming up out of every nook and cranny of our lives right now with this intense shift. And we're remembering, with the remembrance in the soul time card here, what matters, what truly matters, and why we are the way that we are, and what is better for us. With this remembrance and soul time, there's a deep reflection upon old relationships, some type of nostalgia and recollection of the past and the family energy and other experiences all coming forward, so that we can realign to what the soul is here personally for each of us, which is different from each of us, to really accomplish. Is it for you some type of need to be more confident and creative? Is it something like surrounding self-judgment or authority? Is it self-worth? Is it, it could be any number of things. So with Merkaba, I love Merkaba in Tantric Journey also, by the way, with all these chakras. It's talking about that expanded energy field and how our energy field, excuse me one moment. It's talking about how our energy field is really activated, and through any type of intensity or chaos or creative endeavor or interaction with others, those energies at work and at play in our lives are all riled up and bumping up against the container that is this human experience. And are we able to catch these feelings and release these feelings and hold on to the things that truly matter, and release all of the shit that doesn't at the end of the day, other people's judgments and things, making use of that energy and releasing the rest, no matter who's speaking. So below Merkaba here, we also have the bottom of the deck comes out with perception and change, which is great. We're shifting some type of old idea or awareness here, and hopefully upgrading those chakra blocks so that we can be more forward moving in our lives and be more the responsible, accountable adult that also knows how to nurture and express and create instead of feeling that sense of being tied to some distant past. Below here at the bottom of the deck, we'll just catch this real quick. I noticed that Miracle was on the very back, but then this card here, beautiful at the very end, Radical Expansion. See how she's just really conjuring this rainbow essence and this spiraling dragon energy here? It very much gives me this conjuring of the Kundalini energy here with this tantric journey and the summoning of the creative forces through some type of possibly intense or chaotic circumstance, or possibly because you are intending as an energy worker to summon those forces and work through some type of activation to have this radical expansion. And I'll remind us here, this is the finance and career side. So whatever these situations are, this wounded nature in the heart, the sense of self-worth and belonging and sense of creativity versus frustration and anger energy, that energy is coming up for us to realize that it's our choice to summon up all of our creative and heart-connected energies to remember who we are in soul and what we're specially personally qualified to expand in this world. It might just be a sense of connection between somebody. It might be your sacred work coming in. But as soon as we kind of get to the point where we're working through those energies at the internal level, we start to really recognize the ways that we are doing some type of sacred work already. And check this guy out here. We've got in the Akashic Tarot here showing up the Master Artisan with the Eight of Keys. And the Eight of Pentacles does come up over here as well in the other deck. This Keys energy is the same. The Master Artisan talks about that you've been doing something for a long time. You've really come a long way with that. You're putting your heart into it as well with this Queen of Roses, heart and soul, because we've got the soul time. You've put a lot of energy into something. And with Violet Flame, Caretaker, Mediumship, and Commitment, it really shows that you have transmuted, again, those lower base emotions and foundational dogmas and fears and generational karmas into some way of taking care of your own energy, being sovereign, and instead of that codependent energy, and being this conduit and channel for these sacred energies, staying committed to your higher path into working these energies through you. So I will also point out here that over here we had this King of Roses. I'm seeing I have a black marker on my hand. Don't mind that. It's just from the candle. And over here we have the Queen of Roses. So King and Queen of Roses between your love life and your finance and career. It's like in your love life, you're showing up as the so-called masculine, being the emotional authority. And in your career and finance section here, you're showing up with the receptivity and emotional receptivity. So you may be somebody who is already working in a career of nurturing and support and encouragement, like we said, this caretaker energy, which can take so many forms, from just being a good friend to being a counselor or an advocate, social worker, what else? A nurse, a doctor, chiropractor, nutritionist. The list is endless, and you can do the most mundane job and be a checkout clerk or something else like that, and still use this energy with the people that you interact with on the daily basis. So you're putting your energy into this, and you're being reminded of how you come across and how this is actually part of your soul's mastery. I almost said attempt, and it's like we're being reminded not to keep discounting the authority and the mastery that has come through everything that we've worked to so hard to bring forward and to bring into completion here. We've stayed committed to something very powerfully. So we've also got, okay, Master Artisan, Queen of Roses, and then next we have Archangel Gabriel, number 3, and the Two of Roses, which is that Two of Cups winged messenger card. And Gabriel is the archangel of communication, the messenger, the one who blows the trumpet on the day of awakening, that realization. And so it's talking very much about getting some type of calling about the work that we're doing and our ability to nurture something here with the Mother card in the dead center. So yeah, again, the pilgrim in our love lives and the mother and nurturer, the cultivator here in the finance sector. So you could also be a very valuable mentor or guide, guardian, or again, somebody who helps level people up or bring things to their awareness. But I'm sensing that there may be many of you that will sense that because you've been doing so much sacred work, there's some type of a way that you've been doing it that needs to shift, because at this time I'm sensing that there's this connection between the way that you've been seeking for love and overcoming your generational healing issues here and moving into the career sector of really understanding and believing in that sense of abundance and belonging, because we've got this sense of depletion happening with the Temperance showing up in reverse and then the Three of Cups showing up in reverse. It's like she's the Three of Cups here, she's chillaxing with all these cats in her space, but with it being in reverse, it's like the sense of emotional betrayal and heartbreak in love, disappointed energies, and just feeling a little less creative. It's like it's very subtle, and but also creating somewhat of, I want to say, a bit of a, this is going to sound more intense than I intend it to be, but it might be real for you, some type of a dull ache where we've got so much to give here. But the reason I believe here that we're being shown that it's not seeming to come back to us yet is because it's being poured from not quite an empty cup, but it's not being reciprocated or received in equal measure. So either you're dealing with the wrong groups, that you're not charging for your stuff and the people are not in a position to give back, or you're working with people and somehow over giving in some type of a way. But that's for some of you to just shore that up and make sure that you're giving to yourself first and taking good care of yourself. Again, we have this Eight of Pentacles that's very much like, could be a parent energy, a teacher energy, somebody who mentors others. You've got a lot to give and to offer, but it's it looks like you have a lot going on at any given point. And so you're being asked to really be aware of the energetic expenditures that you're being asked to give, and making sure that you are aware of how your commitments are going to work into what you've already got going on, and prioritizing whether you need to back out of a commitment, delegate something, or so on. Because here we've got this Hanged Man energy where it's like everybody's looking at you saying, well, why didn't you do this? And hey, well, I thought that because you always are the one that shows up early and leaves last, I just thought you had that. So the rest of us just showed up empty-handed. And you're like, oh yeah, well, sorry, I forgot. I mean, that's not a real scenario for me, but that's kind of the way that this Hanged one feels. It's like feeling like everything rolls downhill to you. And also you're being like held over this waterfall, and it's like, like somebody's hanging you upside down and all the coins are falling out and stuff like that. It's like maybe your kids are costing you extra money, and you want to send them to like some special music school, for instance. And then it's like, oh, well, in order to give everything, be everything to everyone else, I have to put myself last. And that's why there's some type of depletion happening in the finance and career sector. We have to put the oxygen mask on first here. And then to close out this row here, we've got the Four of Cups, the King of Cups again, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. I believe we're being told just to be aware of the patterns of self-neglect or the stories we tell ourselves, and making sure that we surround ourselves with the right type of individuals. You may also have some type of grieving or mother issues here that's going on, maybe, or a mother figure in here. And being told we need to be aware when we're looking for something such as this love from this old pattern coming through other individuals in the career sector here. In order that we don't get lost in this old dynamic, it's important to kind of stop this dumping out cup energy here and the depletion energy of over giving. And here she's like, temperance in reverse would be accidentally spilling that energy all over the place because we don't have the containers set up to hold something. And so we need to make some kind of stable foundation happen. With King of Cups, it's like we're really understanding something and managing our emotional needs in a new way, and taking time to rest, replenish, and to make a plan here to take our time and get to the end without this sense of explosion here with that Knight of Swords. But this explosion, expansion here may come on the heels of needing to make some type of declaration here of what it's going to be going forward. So being able to set